But I'm always terrified of walking out in the Hall H every year and seeing the audience like go away, like half the audience and shit. So, welcome to my nightmare, man! But you don't do the show for the people watching the other show, you do the show for the people who are here. And I thank you all so much for waiting in line all day and fucking coming in. You guys absolutely right. Okay. It's gonna be a weird show, kids. This is great. This is like 2,000 plus people and shit. I don't really see that many people normally, so that's very, very cool. We'll talk about a bunch of things. We're gonna Q&A for a bit. Later on, I'm gonna show you the Yoga Hosers trailer. And then I'm gonna bring you to a free concert. No, we're actually looking at, we're seeing if there's enough room for us all to go. I doubt it, but we're seeing if that's the case, and maybe if that's the case, we'll end early, call it quits, and fucking go watch the concert. But until such time, man, we'll hang out and chit-chat, and I'll show you the Yoga Hosers trailer, and later on I'll bring my kid out, because last time I brought her out on stage was like 2001, I could hold her. Now I can't hold her anymore, but she'll walk out by herself. And then we got, we brought a monster from the movie that we'll show you later on. Kind of big, special treat to walk out and stuff. Fuck. Anyway, but let's open it up to Q&A. Fuck, I need to talk. We might as well start with this is so funny. But you know what? Here, kids, this is a lesson. This is the thing I was so fucking terrified of. Like, my whole, I've been coming to Comic-Con for 20 years, and I've only been getting up and doing Q&A for 19 of those 20 years. Some years I missed 1 or 2 years in the middle there. But generally speaking, since 1995, that was my first con. I've come here, and the first panel we did was 96. Like, we came here in 95 with Mallrats and showed like 300 people the movie at Horton Plaza. And after the movie was done, like, since the audience was full from Comic-Con, they loved it, man, like big time. And you, based on that, the studio, Universal, was like, we're gonna make $100 million, man. Like, this is, you see the audience react, they're tearing shit up. It's like Animals all over again. We're gonna get rich. And they were off by like 98 million. But kind of like this is the story of my life. So anyway, that was the first time I went to the con, and I'd always read about San Diego Comic-Con when I was a kid, but I'd never been out here because I was from New Jersey and stuff. So when I finally got a chance to come here with the flick, it was like going, I don't want to offend anybody on a religious level, but it was like going to Mecca, man. I was like, this is what it's all about. This is what I've dreamed of doing my whole life. So next year we came back, and they gave me a panel. Like, I had footage from Chasing Amy to show them and stuff. So they gave us a panel to do, and I had a room, I think it was like, not even a big room, one of the A rooms or something, just one room. And it filled very quickly, and we had the panel, and there were people like outside in the hallway trying to get in, not like them. And they were like, somebody from the Comic-Con at that point, this is like 1997, they're like, who are you? And I was like, oh, I make movies that nobody sees. And so they were like, next year we got to put you in a big room. And so the next year they put me in a bigger room. It was like an A and B room or something like that. So from, let me see, 97, from 98 forward, man, the room slowly got bigger. And then one day they were like, we're going to put you in Hall H. Now, as you see, Hall H is a fucking bar. And in the beginning, I was like, please don't do that, because like I'm the only person that's at the panel. Like, it's not like I'm not here with the cast of Star Wars or Game of Thrones. It's just like the fat guy that got thrown off the plane once, you know? So generally speaking, I was always scared, like, oh man, don't put me in Hall H. But they used to do this thing where I would be midday or something like that. So 2, 3 in the afternoon, like between panels, like, you know, they have massive movie panels, TV panels. They would roll me out, and I'd do my shtick and whatnot. But I'm very foul-mouthed and shit, so, you know, when 4-year-old kids waiting for the King to Come panel heard me tell, like, you know, an ass-fucking joke, and start turning to parents going, what does that mean? You know, suddenly, good folks at the Comic-Con were like, we're gonna put you at the end of the night, you know? Because that's when most of the kids go home. So at that point, I was like, all right, that's fine, but then I started getting scared. That was where the fear began, because being at the end of Hall H means that everybody who wants to see something in Hall H, they're gone. Like, they're not waiting for a show after you. I had the benefit of being able to be before some big shows, so cats would have to sit through my bullshit, and then you pick up some new fans along the way. We're like, oh, I didn't know who he was, now I think he's okay. So being at the end of the night, that went away. So suddenly it became like a series of years where right before I came out from behind the curtain, I was always terrified to walk out and see if everybody was like, I've seen everything I want to see, fuck the fat guy, we're getting out of here and shit. And so every time I walk out, like when I walk out there to see a room full of people, I'm like, oh God, fucking A, I'm still rolling. Ooh. And then we go on with the show and stuff. This year, not so much. Like, but this is the good news, man. Like, you know, anybody play the Batman game recently? The Batman Arkham Knight game? I don't want to spoil it, but there's a third act thing where, you know, it's all about fear, kind of. And so my whole, like, you know, it's a pretty first world existence. This is my big fear, that I'd walk out on the stage and Hall H would be half empty or something like that one day. And it happened to me, and I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it absolutely, like, I would have rather not learned that shit. You know, I'd have rather been over watching Star Wars and, or a full house over here watching me, but it happened. Like, the thing that I was always so terrified about happened, and like, oh, I'm still here and everything's fine. And my wife didn't leave me, and my kid wasn't like, you're not my father, you know. And you know, it fucking worked out. So take that for what it's worth, man. Like, your big fear, man, sometimes if you face it and it fucking happens, there's nothing left. I'm not really scared of anything anymore, man. Now I'll take my shirt off in public. We start with you, sir. Take us out of here. Hi. They'll turn you on in a second. JJ took the mics as well.
Hello.
Fucking JJ, man. Holy shit. No wonder he invited me to the set. He's like, come to the set, see the movie, and then we're gonna ruin Hall H for you. Da, 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 da. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you, man?
I'm okay, you guys make it all better all the time. So.
You look very good.
I what?
You look very good.
I dropped sugar out of the diet right around the holidays, which was like a dumb move because I was like, what? Easter is the chocolate holiday. But I got to a place, I've seen a documentary, it's called Fed Up, and it was really interesting. Nobody ever really broke through to me with nutrition before. To me, I was always like, oh, sugar comes out the earth, so it's natural, so let's eat lots. And that's not the case. You know, I equated it with vegetables because it was like they both get tilled from the earth. That's not the same thing. And I watched this documentary, and they kind of broke down sugar in a way that made me understand it for the first time ever. Where they're like, you're just storing it. Everything you put in your body, even if it's not sugar, if it's fucking crackers and shit. They're like, you can have a sugar-free cereal. You can eat a bunch, and from the neck down, it becomes sugar. So you know that kind of hit me. They also had cartoons in it, which I really understood. So I was like, oh, that's what's going on in my body. And so, you know, I come from real diabetic people. My father was hardcore diabetic, diabetes, eventually took his mother and stuff. So I've always dodged that bullet, but, you know, as I'm approaching middle age, I'm 45 in a couple weeks, you know, I was like, maybe it's time to treat this more seriously. And I've lived 44 years eating whatever I fucking want, you know. My parents, like, they raised 2 kids before me, my brother and my sister, and they made them eat right and stuff. By the time you get to the 3rd kid, you're like, here's dynamite, fuck off, you know. And so, you know, I was like, I don't want to eat vegetables. They're like, good, eat Cocoa Puffs, you know. And so I was kind of raised eating whatever I wanted. And then when the film thing took off, like when Clerks happened and shit, like suddenly nobody could tell me anything, right? Because I was like, hey man, I put all this shit together and we wound up making a movie from nothing, and now I have a job. So that means I can eat whatever I want. And I did that for like 20 years. So then I watched Fed Up, and I was like, maybe that's not the way to go about things, or maybe I should be thinking about my health a little better, blah, blah, blah. And the thing they scared me with in the documentary was this kind of insidious little factoid where they said starting in the late 60s and the early 70s, the food industry just slowly started adding more sugar to it. And not in a shitty, like, way, but they were just like, people like things that taste good, so fucking, they'll buy more if we put sugar in. And that was right around the time that I was growing up, man, so I was kind of a victim of that, not a victim, because I loved it so much. But, like, I ate most of that stuff, like all the food that has a little high sugar content. So I was like, maybe I'll try, I did this for 44 years, eating whatever I wanted. Let me just try for 1 year, not eating sugar, and see what happens. It's never gonna go away, it's always gonna be there, but let me see if I can do it for a year without sugar, and then see if it makes a difference and stuff. And god damn it, like instantly, it started falling off. Now when I talk about not doing sugar, like I've eliminated processed and added sugars altogether. Some people are like, what about diet soda? I took that out, like I just drink water or milk or like iced tea, green tea or black tea, like unsweetened. So in terms of everything else, like crackers and shit, nothing, because again, neck down, that all becomes sugar. So for the first 2 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna try it, because I've done the other thing. Let me see if this works. I'll do it for a little while, and if I don't like it, I'll go back to eating all the sugar I want. In the first 2 weeks, it was hard, like really difficult. Like first 2 days, I was like, oh, I got a headache and shit. But once the headache went away, I was like, hey, this ain't so bad. Then I got emotionally bereft. Like I would sit around in my room, even though good things were happening, I was just like, what the fuck is the point of this life, man? If I'm not eating sugar, why? Fuck this. Like, I was like seriously kind of, I wouldn't say despondent, but like really like fucking having weird thoughts about negativity, and I couldn't manufacture a smile or anything. And I got so disturbed about it, I told my wife, I was just like, I don't know how to say this, we've been together for so long, but I think I'm going crazy. Like I really am fucking deeply depressed for no good reason. And I can't fucking manufacture a good feeling. Like I fucking saw the kid, she was telling me something good, and I was like, that's nice. I was like, I couldn't do anything. Like, I think I might need help. I need to go talk to somebody. And she was like, Kevin, you just got rid of sugar. She's like, you used to just have so much sugar in you. That's where all your dopamine came from. Like all your happy in life came from eating sugar. And she goes, breaks my heart to say that because you're your fucking wife, but all your happy in life came from sugar. She's like, you would wake up and you would eat fistfuls of fucking bubblegum flavored jelly beans. 4 of them. And then you'd be like, what's for breakfast? You know? And I love that shit because you could actually swallow it. You know, it's like bubblegum that you can swallow. So I would put sugar into my body like crazy. And she was like, that's what made you happy. That's why you're always like, we can do anything. She's like, of course you can do anything. You love sugar. You know, with sugar, anything's possible. Once you take it out of your life, you know, you live like mostly everybody else. It's just like, oh, the world is a bleak, horrible place. You know? So I was like, is that true? She said, yeah, it takes 2 weeks to create a new neural pathway. She's gone, so you got to bear with it. She said, just like when Jason would kick heroin or cocaine or Oxycontin, it was like 2 weeks to get it out of your system and then start from there. So she was right. Like 2 weeks into it, man, suddenly the sun started rising again. But in those first 2 weeks, dude, I would have sucked in for Lucky Charms. Yours is whoever the fuck's, man. JJ could have lined up all 6,500 people at the concert. I've been like a fucking circus heel, man. Just for a taste. And I realized, like, oh my God, how unhealthy. Sugar was my best friend. Like, you know, and I broke up with sugar. Not so much best friend. It's like a bad, like, ex-girlfriend that's like, she drives me crazy, but I love to fuck her. You know, like that kind of thing. And eventually I had to be like, I love you to death, but I gotta grow up again. So I put it to the side. And so far, so good. Now, I only tell the story just by virtue of the fact that some people were heavy like me or heavier than me and stuff like that. And having been in that camp, I'm still fucking fat, let's be honest. You don't want to see me with these clothes on. I look better, I don't look good. But that being said, there are some cats, like I would always see people lose weight and be like, how'd you fucking do it? Because you expect a magic bullet or something like that. And you always expect somebody to be like, I went to sleep and woke up like this. It's that easy, you know. So, but there's generally not the case. But I just want to throw this out there for cats that are curious. Like, I didn't work hard. Like Kevin Smith's leitmotif in life, I don't work hard. And when it came to the diet, it was the same thing. The hardest part was eliminating the sugar. After that, it was just the normal things I always did. Like I didn't start exercising heavily. I walk my dogs every day about 1.5 miles up and down this hill and stuff. So you add that to the lack of sugar and everything just starts falling off. So you don't have to see like, say, oh, it's a long, hard road. And you know, it's not like a movie montage where you're sweating and shit like that. I mean, I sweat when I fucking breathe, but it's, in terms of losing the weight, once you pull sugar out of it, it just falls off. I don't know how else to explain it. So I don't know how long I'm gonna keep going with it. You know, like again, it's not difficult. So it's not like every day I sit there going, I wish I could eat some brownies and shit. I know I'll get there again eventually. That shit's never gonna go away. It's not like, well, I'm on a diet, the president's gonna be chocolate is outlawed. You know, I'll be able to eat it again one day. But for right now, it's okay to put it to the side. And I have mixed feelings when people are like, oh, congratulations, you lost weight. It's very nice. But what I hear through my filter is, oh my God, you used to be so fucking fat, we never told you. I mean, I knew and shit, but still. So when people go like, hey, great job, I'm always the first like, thanks. But then I'm like, yeah, the fat kid in me is still like, no, don't accept that compliment because you were fine the way you were. And I was, but at the same time, I probably would have died a little earlier. So right now, and again, I don't know how long I'll keep it off, but right now it feels pretty good. And I'm going through this weird thing where like none of the clothes fit anymore. And I'm such a pack rat, I keep everything. Like I still have every Silent Bob outfit and shit, every terrible Kevin Smith uniform you've ever seen him in, sleeveless hoodies and shit like that, and the weird outfits I've worn over the years. And so as I've dropped weight, I've enjoyed going like, let me see if I can get in this shit. And so I'll put it on and then just let it drop to the floor, you know, and it feels really fucking good on that level. Problem is, I have no clothes left. I'm down to one pair of jean shorts, which would make my mother very happy. Like, get out of those shorts, Kevin. Most of my t-shirts don't fit anymore. This is a tuxedo jacket that I wore, I rented for, I think, Clerks 2 when it was playing at Cannes. And so this is the only jacket, and that was me, I was kind of much thinner than. So this jacket fits now. So I've been jigging, going through the closet and pulling out a little shit. Problem is, like, I look like I'm dressed from the late 80s to the early 90s. That's, all my clothes are from there. So I've got like this kick-ass pair of mom jeans from like 1989 that I can still pull on that I feel good about, but I guess I gotta go shopping pretty soon. You didn't really ask that, I know, I was sorry. But again, it's not, I mean, you're thin, obviously you need no fucking help, but for those who are like, I'd like to lose some weight, it's really not difficult. The big difficulty is staying away from sugar. An easy way to do that in a food store is just shop the outside aisle. The closer you get into the middle aisles of the food store, everything's processed, got sugar in it. I'm not saying that's evil, it's just, but you know, put weight on it. The outside of the aisles, man, that's where you kind of want to shop. And again, take it with a grain of salt, you're taking fucking nutritional information from Kevin Smith. So, but that's how I do it anyway. Good?
Well, congrats, man.
Thank you, man.
No, I was going to ask you about producing.
That was not even a question, sorry.
Producing, what's your favorite part, your least favorite part? When did you actually start producing? I know Clerks you produced because you did everything together, but as your career went on, you got more money, more budgets, like, how did you do with the producing aspect of your career from the beginning towards the end?
I mean, honestly, it hasn't changed, and I guess some people kind of, you know, lament that. They're like, he's still fucking doing the same shit he did when he started. And I get accused of making 90s movies all the time. Like, he makes movies like he's stuck in the fucking 90s. So we made this movie, Yoga Hosers, and I was like, fuck you, this is an 80s movie. And I went a little further back and made a movie I grew up watching as opposed to the movies I used to make. I'm not real great at producing. I'm great at like putting together an idea, I'm great at writing a script, or not even great at writing a script, but I can write a script. I can get a lot of people involved, pull together cast, but it always takes like a battery. You need somebody else to like take me and kind of move me forward. In the early days, it used to be Scott Mosier, like my friend who I do Smodcast with. Never imagined I could ever step on a set without Scott, because like I was the guy that was like, I want to do this, and he'd be like, okay, we'll figure out how to make that happen and stuff. Scott is now doing his own thing, and we still do Smodcast, but he doesn't do the movies anymore. So there was a little period where I was like, I don't have that battery person, the person that makes me go, essentially, after I have the ideas. One thing to sit there and have great ideas and be like, this is what I want to do. You need somebody to help you bring it into action. And, you know, it's like, and it's tough to find those fucking people. I've talked about this before many times, but like, you know, if you tell people, I want to do something, I want to try this thing, I want to step outside my box and try this little thing different. 20 years ago, 21 years ago for me, it was like, I want to try to make a movie, even though I didn't go to film school or anything like that. And you try to do that, and the world will fucking hit you with why right away. There's so many fucking people who'd be like, why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you think you could do that all of a sudden? Why you and why not me? I'm not thinking about doing that. Why you? Why hits you right away? Throw a rock and you'll hit fucking why. You surround yourself with why not people, and then you get shit done. So you don't be around the why people, condescending, kind of like, that's stupid. Why would you try that? You know, we get great ideas, and if we don't shout ourselves down, we let the world shout us down. You surround yourself with a couple cats, man, who feel like, why not? So you sit there going like, I want to try this thing that's outside the box for me. You get an answer that's better. You get, oh yeah, why not? I'll help you. Let's give it a shot. I got nothing to do, why not? That kind of thing, you can go so far on. You can get a lot of stuff done. And I've been lucky enough to meet a bunch of why not people, man. Just recently, when it came to yoga, there was this woman named Kim Ledford, who's amazing. She runs a company called Starstream, and those were the cats that said, why not? I had this movie that I was like, I want to make this flick. It's about two little girls that were in the scene in Tusk, man. It's real quick, but I'd like to make a whole movie about them, and it's kind of PG-13. It's not going to be one of my R-rated movies, and it's weird. It's weirder than Tusk in some odd way. Most people would be like, dude, we saw Tusk, fuck you. But, and I was, this was, let me see, I'd written a script April 20th was the first draft, 4/20. And for about 2 months, we thought we were going to be doing the movie with the folks who made Tusk over at Demarest. But they couldn't pull the financing together until the next year. We had a window where we could get it done like almost immediately. So I said, could I take it out and maybe finance it elsewhere? And they said, yeah, if you can do that, go ahead. And so I met Kim Ledford when we were putting together this Krampus movie. And I said to her, hey man, I got this other thing. And it's a movie about these two girls and they fight monsters and stuff like that. It's kind of a tween movie. It's kind of like Bill and Ted. It's Excellent Adventure for like tween girls. Like it's a very thin bridge that I'm trying to cross. She goes, you interested in it? I said, you interested in this sort of thing? And she was, man. Like, she's like, why not? 2 months later, we were sitting on a set shooting. So like, were it not for Kim, I would just be sitting there with a script in my hand going, this would be so much fun to do. So you find those people are the real producers, man. You find those guys, you can get anything done. My job doesn't really change from movie to movie. It's been the same since the first one. Whether you got like 28 grand or 5 million or something like that, I write the script, I rehearse the actors, and then I try to make sure they give a performance while we're shooting that's as close as the one I saw in my head while I was writing it, if not better. And now, it's usually better. Like when I was a kid, I always felt I knew exactly how everyone should sound. Then you start working with better actors, or real actors, or actors who've done a bunch of stuff, and suddenly like they're intuiting your dialogue in this way where you're like, wow, that sounds better than the way I heard it in my head. Go. So my job doesn't change that in that respect, but it always changes for the producers because it's always a different task. You're like, hey, this time we got to build a big monster. This time we got to like blow up a mall. That's from Mallrats. Stuff like that. Like they have to figure that sort of thing out. So I'm just the guy who comes up with stupid ideas. It's usually up to somebody to institute, make them happen. And I've been surrounded by cool people who do it. That's why I don't really take the producer credit on the movies. The first one I did, Clerks, because I put the money on my credit cards. But after that, I'm like content to take my job. Thank you. To take my job and do only that, like write and direct and I edit as well. And I let everybody else do their thing. But I'm not nearly talented enough to produce a movie, pull it together. Man, on this movie, we had wonderful producers like Liz Destro, Jenny Schwalbach, Jordan Monsanto. We had all women producing the movie, which was a new experience for me. I like being around that creative energy because who knows how to create more than women, right? So at the end of the day, we had a pretty female-heavy set and whatnot. Even my period was in sync with theirs. Like, it was pretty magical. So I'm going to keep doing that for a while. Like Kim is making Mallrats as well. There'd be no Mallrats without Kim Ledford, man. So give her a big round of applause as well. But that's, yeah, I give credit to those guys, not so much me. Thank you. Snoochie Boochies indeed.
Hey! So firstly, if I can, I just want to thank you. I come to this panel every single year. I make it my mission to.
Oh, thanks, man.
And actually about 3 years ago, I came here with my buddy for the first time. He was his first time here. And after that, I was like, we can podcast. We can do this. And
did you do it?
Yes.
What's it called?
Stuff and Things Podcast Network. We're 4 shows we have now, thanks to your inspiration.
Isn't it awesome?
It is. It's so great.
Thank you. Thanks for that. But isn't it awesome? There's nothing I love making movies, don't get me wrong, but nothing I love more than podcasting because it's so simple. It doesn't take talent. I don't have any talent, so that's why like me and podcasting blend together well. Anybody can have a conversation. When you make a movie, it requires a degree of vision and shit like that, money, help, and you gotta have talent somewhere involved. Podcasting, it's just talking, and everybody can do that. You know, you can sit down and have a conversation with anybody. So I've been talking for the last few years, telling people like, go out and record a podcast before they start charging you for it, or before they become all gatekeepery about it and say, oh, you can't, or only this one can come in, you can. So it's always awesome when I meet people who are like, I did it. So not only do you have one, but you have 4?
Yeah, we do one. I'm going to just say it's a very smodcast. That's just him and I talking just like you and Scott did.
Perfect.
We do a comic book one, and an action movie one, a horror movie one. We have a bunch of different stuff. So thank you for that. And by the way, we loved Tusk. Tusk was amazing.
Thank you.
It's what podcasting
I loved it too. Some people, I meet a lot of people who are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I saw a tweet on Twitter today where some dude was like, watched Tusk and half expected it to be a disaster. Was correct. You know? He was like, this was bad for all involved. And I saw that, I was like, well, not me, I liked it. You know. But thank you for liking it.
So I was going to ask a Ben Affleck question, but I'm not going to now. I'm going to ask, when is the next chapter of your Batman comic coming? We are at Comic-Con after all. Comics are the thing here.
I think this is the year we actually finish it. It's called Batman Bellicosity. We started it a couple of years ago, and then Comic Book Man happened. And so we didn't wind up going back to it. Like in the middle of Comic Book Man, I think at the end of the first season, Walt wanted to do Cryptozoic Man. So it's like, yeah, go do your own book and stuff. So Batman Bellicosity is taking a back seat. Nobody's like banging down our door going, we gotta know what happened. Some people, not you, or thank you very much. But generally speaking, not a lot. Like recently there was an article on CBR or something like that. Someone wrote a blog about like, this is one of the worst Batman stories ever told. And they kind of broke down my thing and I saw that and I was like, oh. And they were like, because it was so bad, you know, fucking New 52 happened and then they never finished this miniseries. They probably just canceled it. And I fucking wrote, I felt bad, but I was like, no, it's not my fault, we're still doing it. You know, it'll be out soon, sorry. But hopefully at the end, like we're heading into 2016, I hope to be in that. Comic Book Man has started shooting yesterday, our 5th season. So the boys are going to be preoccupied for a little bit. We'll all be preoccupied for a little bit. And then after that, yeah, I think I'm going to go back and finally finish it. We've got 4 of the issues already drawn. Walter finished drawing them. I just have to write the last 2. So we'll get back to it for sure.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. Well, it's been better, but this is great.
Kevin, I just want to say, because of Clerks, it's the reason why I want to become a writer and director. Without it, I really wouldn't know what I would do the rest of my life.
Thanks, man. What do you write direct? What kind of stuff?
I'm just kind of writing bits and little different things every now and then. I actually started thinking of my own hockey-themed movie, so.
Stay away.
Okay.
No, do it. I can't get mine done. I turned it into a miniseries. So yeah, do it. There's not enough hockey-themed movies.
That's what my question was going to be, like, what exactly is going on with Hit Somebody at this point?
Hit Somebody we turned into a miniseries, and Kim, who I mentioned before, like at one point we were talking, and she had worked for a guy who worked in the NHL and owned a WH team at one point. You know, the small hockey league that kind of branched out in the 70s and quickly flamed out, of course, 6-7 years, but some teams got absorbed into the NHL. That's where we got Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers. So I was like, oh my lord, I've written like a movie about a small WHA type team and turned it into a miniseries. She was like, can I read it? And I said, yeah. And then she read it, she was like, we can find money for this. Like, she's the bridge to everything, man. She was so awesome. She was like, yeah, we can find money. And she found some money for it. So we were talking about doing it as a miniseries and shooting it up in Northern Ontario next year. We were actually going to be doing it in the fall, but then we moved to make way for Mallrats instead. So yeah, it's happening so as well. Thank you, sir. Hey!
How's it going, Kev?
How are you?
I'm excellent now that I'm here. This is actually the second time I'm last time I was here, I was talking about these short films that I had made. You're one of my heroes, and that's how I got into making films. And I gave you a button, a yellow button that said "Good Grief" on it. And you put it on, and thank you very much for that. Well, we made the feature version of that film last summer, and we made some T-shirts for the Indiegogo campaign, and I think you can fit this now. And you know, you can use it as a dust rag if you want, but I'd really like to hand it to someone.
Totally, yeah, whip it on up.
Yeah, man.
I take a free shirt. I might use it to mop my face right now, but other than that doesn't mean I won't wash it and wear it later.
Yeah, and you know, if you got the time, I'd like you to check out the Twitter page. It's
what's it called? Blow it up for everybody.
It's called Good Grief. It's basically like the Big Chill meets the Peanuts.
Who dies? Fucking Linus, right?
Who's the
hang himself with a blanket and shit?
It's not Linus.
It's not Linus?
It's not Linus.
Who is it?
It's Charlie Brown. Well, the Charlie Brown-esque characters, I changed.
I would bring everybody back together and they'd all be like, we treated him like shit.
Yeah.
Lucy would take it very hard.
She does, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And it stars Jordan Ladd from Death Proof, and Rachel True's in it from Half Baked.
That rocks, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
Give it up for him. That's tremendous.
Yeah, when I was here years ago, I forgot to plug the damn thing, so here you go. On Twitter, it's The Grief Film.
Okay.
So, and if, I know you're a busy guy, but I would love to be.
Not tonight.
Well, if you got some time later tonight, I'd love to send you a cut of the film, so maybe you can watch it. I know you're a busy guy.
Do you blow me up on Twitter, dude? Happily.
Yeah, man.
Find me there.
I will, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the show, too. That sounds like a good flick, too. I would watch that. Hey, how are you? Holy cats.
Kevin, I was going to ask you a question, but I can't.
I know.
It's a sausage party, so I bought you something nice.
Thanks.
I'm going to give the question to her.
Thank you. Hi, excellent outfit. The mallet is tremendous.
Thank you. But anyways, so I like sausage, but my question.
I'm sorry, do you not like sausage? Is that what you said?
No, I like sausage.
You like sausage?
I eat sausage. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Anyways.
It's okay to be confessional. Nobody's here.
So, with everyday life, everyone is always quoting movies. What movie do you find yourself quoting all the time?
What an excellent question. Raising Arizona. That's still my go-to, man. I used to quote it like crazy when I was a kid because I loved that movie so much. And then as I grew up, got older, when I met people in life who felt the same way. I married a Raising Arizona fan, so every once in a while, like we just speak to each other, Raising Arizona, or Coen Brothers dialogue and stuff. And then I meet people who are like, I can quote all your movies. And I'm like, I can quote the Coen Brothers movies. Okay. Oh my lord, Harlequin followed by Batman. How are you, sir?
You're no longer Fat Man.
You need some chloroseptic, sir.
Do you suck Ben Affleck's bat balls?
Not yet, but I would. Especially if he cast me as the Penguin in his movie. That's why I wore the tuxedo jacket. I was like, I look convincing, don't I?
Well, that's not the real question. The serious question is, I know you confirmed for Wallbrats, Stan Lee, Jason Lee, Jeremy London. When are we going to see Ben Affleck come back? I don't think you've confirmed him.
I have not confirmed him. I haven't even asked him yet. I haven't seen the dude in a long, long time. Last conversation I had with him was via email when he got the day that they announced he's going to play Batman. It was like a year ago or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, you're going to play Batman? I do a podcast called Fat Man on Batman. Can you be on it? And he goes, yeah, I will eventually. And so, you know, when the movie, I guess we're close to the movie, maybe he'll be on it one day. But I didn't reach out to him about Mallrats yet because Mallrats is one of those things that like you build slowly, where you're like, well, I want to make Mallrats. And you say it out loud for the first time, Mallrats too. You say it out loud for the first time, and like people react to it. The nice thing was a lot of people online reacted positively. Even the people that were like, fuck this, or like, oh, I can't wait to watch him fail with this, you know. So even that's considered supportive as well. So, you know, I was like, fuck it, let's give it a shot. So I say that first, and then people kind of get energetic about it. And then I take it the next step, push whimsy the whole time. It's not about an agenda. It's not like, I will get this done by hook or by crook. Very easy to dissuade from things. But with me, I'm just like, well, let's see if we can do it. If we can push it, put it together easily, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be fun? So I start reaching out to the cast and be like, hey, if we did it again, would you come back? And, you know, out of the 18 characters that I brought back, I reached out to 17, all 17 said, yeah, I Instagrammed their pictures, all holding up 2 fingers and stuff. I didn't reach out to Ben yet until everything is locked, until I know for a fact it's reality, I know for a fact when we're shooting and whatnot. I'm not stupid enough to have written a part for him that is integral to the film. It's not like, dude, come out and be the lead. Like, no, obviously not. But I wrote him a very cool cameo, which will take like 10 minutes. Shot anywhere in the world, doesn't even have to come to set to shoot it and stuff. And if he does it, it'll bring the house down. It's not like, and he dresses up like Batman. No, not at all. Like, I'm smart. I'm not dumb like that where I'm like, I'll make this so fucking easy, easiest thing on earth for him to do. He can come do it at his places. And then